Hello everyone, we're back, another live. I got a great show for you this evening. Tonight we're going to be talking about dating. The fact that it's hard. It's always been hard. That's what I want to talk about. People say today that, dating is just so hard. It's just so difficult. Dating these days is so tough. But let me tell you guys something, folks. Listen. Dating has always been hard. It's always hard for your parents. They said the same thing you're saying now. And their parents before them, their parents before them. It's always been hard. All right? And it's because there are more people that you're incompatible with than compatible with. There's so many folks out there that you're just not going to jive with. You're not going to connect with. That's just how it's going to be, all right? They got all kinds of weird things about them and weird thoughts and weird patterns and like weird habits and behaviors, weird sexual preferences. Some of y'all sniffing shoes or whatever. I'm not judging you, but for some that might not be compatible with it. You see what I'm saying? Some of y'all got a hygiene issue. That's another one. Some of y'all got a hygiene issue. You got men, I swear men just stand in the shower and just let the water fall down and get it. And then women, sometimes some of y'all women need to invest in like a bidet or something. Like if at least if there isn't like wet ones in there, y'all should be at least taking a little bird bath in the sink or something before you slip into his bed or whatever. Compatibility issues is what I'm trying to say. All right. And then also just other weird habits like some people are punctual, some people are not. Some people are not as punctual, right? And that drives some people crazy. You ever have somebody show up, you're like, I'm ready, and then you show up, you pick them up, and they're just fucking not ready, you're sitting outside. For some, that drives you bonkers. It's like, what are you doing? They're still in there shaving their legs, and you're all full ready outside. So you just come across these people. It's not exactly fair. We kind of discount people as we move along. We meet folks, they do some weird, quirky, awkward thing once, and it's like their whole personality is just fucking toast after that. It's like, nope, sorry. So compatibility issues is the main reason. And here's the thing I think. It's not that dating is hard. Most of these people, they just simply... most of these people, I'm going to say it. I'm going to get this out. The thing is, it's hard. Dating is hard, okay? But the problem is that most of these people, compatibility issues is like minor things like that might help you dodge a bullet in the future, you see? Like with the grooming stuff. I talk about the grooming stuff a lot. Because some people have like a grooming thing. For me, I'm a man who's meticulously well-groomed. I just am. That's just who I am as a person. I don't leave the house if I'm not smelling good. That's just who I am. That is deep inside of me as a person, the way I was raised, whatever. Some people aren't like that, particularly men. But other, women too, same shit. All right? Some women have grooming problems too. And those are minor things that... It's not. I always talk about the eyebrows, like shaving between your eyebrows and all this stuff. It's like, it's not that I particularly have a problem of the fact that some of y'all got hairs here you haven't shaved in ever. I don't have a problem with that necessarily. My problem is that if I'm a meticulously well-groomed man and I meet a woman for the first time and she's not a meticulously well-groomed woman, it just to me is off-putting because I just assume, and rightfully so, that her whole life is this way. You see? And at first, it might not be necessarily a problem. I don't care about the 3 hairs between your eyebrows necessarily. I do, but I don't really. That's not the point. It's just that I know that long term, there's going to be a lot of other things that we don't click with. You see what I'm saying? Because you didn't take the time. So I assume that, and rightfully so, that you don't take the time in other aspects of your life. So for most of the time, those stupid little things that come out and shine out like that are like, it's like, they're helping you. They're like helping because you're dodging bullets, you see? It's like that kind of stuff that even if you got over it, you didn't like immediately discount them. You got over it, but it's like it comes out later. Like it's just, at first, even if you overlook these small things, later when you kind of get comfortable and settled, you're going to hate these things. And those little things aren't going to be so small anymore. They're going to scream, scream, scream at you. You see what I'm saying? Those little eyebrows up here that you see like this, that I'm like, I look at this every time. And because it's just, what are you doing? You look at yourself all day in the mirror. You don't notice. Your friends don't tell you. So I see that right away. And then some girls, they don't get it. And if I were to just overlook that thing, even for the date, even for the month, and just kept seeing that person, then it would just scream at me every day. It'd be like white hot blaring red sign in my face every day. I would just be looking at them like this. Tweeze those eyebrows. Ugh. I'll come after them and get them myself. I'll get you the eyebrows myself. Problem solved. My God, was it that hard? My point is that these little things that cause people to not be compatible with you are helping you dodge a bullet. You see, the challenge is you just got to date enough. You got to get out there enough such that you dodge enough bullets, and you're like all these old things. People not shaving between their eyebrows, not shaving above their knee, or like whatever. There's the small little things, but other little things that come out like that, character things they say, what they talk about, whatever, that cause you to go, ugh. It's because they're going to wholly not click with you later anyways. So dating has always been hard. There's always going to be something. You're not going to like that guy because he's got a weird mole on his face, or you're not going to like that girl because her face doesn't match the skin on her face doesn't match her neck and everywhere else. You're not going to like that. And there's just so many things, right? And so when that comes out, you go, okay, not for me. Move on to the next one, and you're only really going to be compatible with like 2% of people, maybe. That's you got to date a lot to figure that out. All right. So don't be so hard on yourself. You say dating's out there, it's so hard. It's so hard. But it's always been hard. You got to go through a lot of bullshit. All right? Don't just settle with anybody. And that goes for guys and girls. The problem with guys is that they'll go so long without anybody touching them at all. Then, the first woman that's willing to, they're like, oh, in love. So you got to be wary of that, And you women, same thing. So the answer is, date around a bit. You're not Rapunzel. You can't just sit in your house and just think that some man's going to come riding up on a steed and climb up your hair or whatever. I'm here. Let's get married. It's never going to happen. All right, so you got to get out there. You got to date around. Okay, and then feel out what you like. And don't ignore the minor stuff. The minor stuff to me is like I said, it's everything. Because it's minor today. It's not minor tomorrow. Literally what I'm doing. Good. That's right. So, date around, folks. It's okay. You're not going to be compatible with most. That's the takeaway here. You're not going to be compatible with most. And if you go on 3 dates a month and those 3 people didn't pan out for you, it's not that dating's so tough. All right? You just got to be around better people. Date better people by putting yourself in the environment you want to imagine. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. Let me say this because I'm gonna help you guys with this soon. But imagine this: put yourself around the kinds of people you can imagine your future self like being with, sort of long term. If you're looking for a long term relationship, now if you're looking for a short term thing, fine. I get that. Birds do it, the bees do it. Do your thing, boo boo. It's all good. Just say it. If you're looking for something long term, all right, you want to go to the places that you imagine yourself being if you were married to a person long term. Like, where would they be anyways? All right. I met him at the country club. I met him by the dock, or at the yacht club bar, or something like this. You see what I'm saying? Put yourself in these places, and then date amongst those people. All right. Don't just roll the dice with any dive bar off the freeway. That's number. So be strategic about it. But you got to date more than just a few a month. Okay. Get around. Get out there. Not get around, but get around. You guys get me? Do you understand? Let's see. Wait a second. That was a good question. Hang on. Does making more money than the man cause issues? I'm assuming you're asking me that because you don't know for sure for yourself. Here's typically the answer. It's really hard to respect a man that you have to pay for. You have to kind of support. I'm not saying that there's no good homes with dual income families, this and that. But if you're supporting that man, eventually you start to hate that dude. You're like, you start going, who paid for that? You start walking around getting a little too confident, too cocky with it. And you're like, lower your voice in my house, sir. What are you doing? My name's on the mortgage here. You know, you start to feel that a little bit. So if you're making like, if you're contributing a much larger portion to the household income than the man, it's hard for a woman to not, and like, every couple has their little fighting moments, little tension moments where it's kind of a dominance thing a little bit. Women are kind of testing men a little bit, inadvertently or whatever, and then the men kind of have to like, oh, I'm the big man around here. But then when you're making more money, you have a higher income contributing to the household than him, you kind of be like, lower your voice a little bit when you're talking to me. Quiet down. This is my house. So it's just hard. I'm not saying it doesn't exist and people can't be together. For sure it can, but I just can't even imagine just to want to put it in your mouth with enthusiasm. I just can't. Wouldn't you just be like, why am I doing this? You didn't earn this. Is it your birthday again? That's the only thing I can think of. That's what I'm saying. If he was paying the mortgage and the lights and everything, then it would be the enthusiasm would be so high. It would be better for both of y'all. I just can't imagine. And as a man, I can't imagine just being okay with it. I'd feel fucking bad. Like this is a temporary thing. You know what I'm saying? Ugh. All I'm just saying is that in dual income households, sometimes the women do make more. I just can't imagine a scenario where there's just a lot of respect there. I just feel like the tension around the house will just be way too high. Every night's a Tylenol night. You know what I'm saying? Oh. And then he resents you. Oh yeah, that's right. And then he resents you. And he resents you, but then he can't afford to go get someone else. So it's a vicious cycle. All starts with not making enough. So whose fault is it? I mean, it's like, bear some fucking responsibility. Oh, man. Yeah, so that's the other thing. So if the guy's not succeeding like in his own life, I get that. Look, times, life, just like anything, is up and down. Not always going to be killing it all the time. You're going to fall down from time to time. You're going to stumble, whatever. It's a part of the process. But if you date a man that's perpetually on the low, you date a man that's always falling down, can't ever get ahead. It's always the same patterns with those guys. It's like the characteristics are, he just never gets a fair deal. Something bad's always going to happen to him. The universe just won't allow him to get ahead. He's got a dark cloud following him always. It's like those guys never get ahead because genuinely how they view themselves in their life. They're just like such a downtrodden individual. And then if you enable that, and most of y'all do enable that, all right? If you're dating a guy like that, it's your fault. You've been enabling that shit for years, and you'll buy into their own bullshit, and you'll be so sorry and so empathetic for them or whatever. And that does nothing for him. In fact, in a very short period of time, that man will turn that shit around on you. He'll then just say you're the reason he's so downtrodden. Because again, he's just grasping at anything that caused him to just be so unlucky. So you can never catch a break. He's been doing that his whole fucking life. And if you come and try to support that, help him out or whatever, he'll then just point that shit directly at you and blame you to your face and just say you're the reason he can't get ahead. That's what will happen. So you're enabling that shit. And if you date guys like that, you're asking for it. I don't feel sorry for you because I'm telling you now. I'm like the ghost of Christmas future. Right now. Predicting what your life's going to be. You can change it. You can shift your timeline right now. You can change that shit. Don't date guys that are unlucky, constantly unlucky, man. It's not that you can't make it, later in life, but my God. If they're always on their ass and it's always somebody else's fault, I promise you, soon it will be your fault. All right? Okay. Greetings. Hello, everyone. Let's see. After counseling, healing. It's all right. That's not a question. You have my color of eyes. Thanks. Like they match. Hello, everyone. What if your husband wants to rent your parents' house? That's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes if parents have like a lot of real estate investments, depends on their career or whatever. They got extra houses or something like that. You guys want to live in a family home. There's some sort of like heirloom sort of situation. That's fine. And oftentimes, starter families, they get off their feet with some sort of help from their parents or whatever. That's not ideal, but at the same time, like it's good for the families to kind of take care of the families and pass it down. I don't have a problem with that at all. If you have that sort of advantage in life where your parents can afford to help you out and you can graciously accept that, that's fantastic. I think there's nothing, to me, nothing wrong with a Nepo baby. In fact, y'all should date Nepo babies. That's security. You should ask them. That's a perk. You get what I'm saying? You want to date one of those men from the Johnson & Johnson family. It's kind of nice. It's better than just this. It's better than rolling the dice on the struggle bus for most of your life, where 99.99% of men aren't ever going to change their stars at all, or just date a Johnson & Johnson family baby. Nepotism is dope. Date Nepo babies. You should date those guys. Trust me. It's just good. It's just good. It's a good bet. You're not gambling your future here. Date you a Nepo baby. Get you a man with a trust fund. You just kind of hedge your bets that way. That's all right. Are you married? No. Nepo babies are people that like inherited money from their already wealthy family, like a Rothschild or Johnson & Johnson family. Is what I said earlier. It's like their grandparents made it, their grandparents made it, and then they made it, their parents made it, and then they're gonna make it too, because nepotism. Is it okay to sign a prenup? Well, here's the thing. There's a big misconception about prenuptial agreements. So oftentimes, and here's my advice. My advice has always been just straight up be a gold digger, date men that are wait at the finish line, date the winners. You should do that. It's good. It's just good business. All right. Now, oftentimes those guys that made something of themselves aren't stupid, and they have lawyers, and they're not going to you're going to get married with sort of a prenuptial agreement, likely. If they have an estate, if they have some sort of income or assets and significant assets, that's it. I will say that most judges in court systems throw prenuptial agreements out, but that's really only for broke people that throw them out. If you have real money, and you got an airtight prenup, a judge isn't really throwing that out. However, if they've made real money, they have something to show for their existing efforts before they met you, they have assets to lose if they divorce you in, let's say, 10 years, or you guys get divorced in 10 years, you're entitled to that amount. But prenuptial agreement is prenuptial, before nuptials, before the marriage. So anything that man accrued after the marriage, all right, that he doesn't leave to you in some sort of format, is that bit you're entitled to. So once you guys get married, and then most men, unless you're married, some of y'all married 70-year-old guys, and I get that. Marry yourself a 70-year-old man, and just get some guy in his twilight years. Get him to suck your toes or whatever he's into. I don't know, whatever y'all do. And then, maybe if you let him suck your toes, he'll put you in the will. All right? So I get that. That's an approach. Don't have to work as hard. Sleep with girls don't have to work as hard. I get it. But for most of y'all, if y'all dating younger, able-bodied men, they're not going to stop working. They're not going to stop working when you marry them. All right? So you marry a good-looking, well-put-together, successful guy in his 40s. He has to sign a prenup. So what? Here's the thing about earning money if you're a success. And the only time that really matters that they sign a prenup is if they made a massive amount of money. Who's the guy that did MySpace, the Tom or whatever? That guy, okay, so he built MySpace, sold MySpace at the age of 32, okay, and say you married him at 35. So if he signs a prenup, you're not getting any of that money, all right? But that's so rare that anybody makes money like that, and a massive amount of money like that in their early life, and then stops making any real significant money in their later lives, okay? So here's the point. You're not going to fight and win against a smart man that's like, yo, we're going to get married, but all this massive amount of wealth that I accrued before I even met you, I'm going to have you sign a prenuptial agreement. You can scream and cry, but you're never going to get that man to marry you. But there's hope for you yet, and let me tell you. Most people, since we're talking about men here, let's talk about men. Most men, if they made money before, and then you marry them and they're still working, they're going to continue to make more money. And oftentimes it's asymmetrical. So it's like as their skills develop, they get more and more and more successful because their growth financially goes, and because of that, the growth financially goes up in an asymmetrical way. So it's like, it's not straightforward. It's like that. They can demand higher prices. They're smarter in business. They get better deals, whatever. So if he made some amount of money up to now, and then he's still going to work for another 10, 15, 20 years after you meet him, the likelihood that he's going to make the bulk of his money is in those years fucking anyway. So if you get married, all of that money you make post-nuptial, after their marriage, you're entitled to, and that will be the bulk of his money anyways. All right? Now, I'm not saying you should plan for divorce, because I genuinely think marriage is sacred, and you shouldn't, if you're going to get married, you shouldn't get divorced. By God, you shouldn't get divorced. Okay? Straight up, that's my real actual advice. But just because he signs a prenup, who gives a shit about his money before? That's kind of a perk, it's kind of a benefit, but it's more about the money that he makes after the marriage. It's much more significant, trust me. And if you're going to get married for a guy for 10 years after that, there's a lot of money for you to have a life out on if you get divorced and he leaves you high and dry, and you have to split that other half, or the last 10 years of effort in half. You're gonna get a significant portion of that, and that's still a good deal. And here's the thing: I don't think that men should marry women and then women have to gamble with the man, because that's what it is. When you get married to a guy, you're sort of gambling your life away on that man. All right, I don't think men talk about that enough. Men often talk about what the girls are going to get after divorce, but they never talk about the fact that women gamble their life with you. You see? especially if they don't have kids, haven't had kids, and are now wanting to choose you to not only have kids, but spend the rest of their life with. Like, they don't really understand. Nobody ever talks about the gravity of that. You see, they just think, oh, women are just so vicious, they're going to take it all. Don't get married because they're just going to take it all. These viper women. But nobody ever appreciates the fact that women are actually foregoing all other options, choosing you. And why the fuck should they choose you? And then also gamble their whole life, their health, their body, their motherhood, and the mother of their children, and their life. They're tethering that shit to you if y'all have kids forever. That's a crazy, significant risk for women. It just is. And so for men to be so concerned about what she might get in 10 years from now, rather than with zero consideration of what she had to give to get there, is fucking crazy to me. It just is crazy to me. So, that being said, that doesn't, if you're with somebody for 10 years and have their children, the courts will protect you, you see. I'm not saying that men sometimes don't get a raw deal, but that was the commitment. You commit to this thing. You're not supposed to get divorced by God or any other means. And you do. And then should now the woman just be 10 years older? Her body's different. She's got all these kids. She's given her life up to you, man. And so she's going to she'd have to get back out there and get a second shot at a suboptimal position than she could have if she'd never committed to you in the first place. That's unfucking fair. You see? So she might deserve what you earned a bit while she supported your ass and licked your wounds at night for the last 10 fucking years. My God. Isn't that just fair? All right? So just because you signed a prenuptial agreement doesn't mean that you're not entitled to anything you guys earned together post-nup. All right? And usually that's the most significant amount of income anyways. So don't worry so much about it. You guys get it? Should I go to Hawaii with a new guy? How do I get the bag? Well, look, some of y'all are crazy. Some of y'all be going on like vacations, leaving the country with people y'all don't know. Not saying that I haven't done that. I've definitely invited women to come with me to countries I've never been to, and they've never been to any other country or with me at all. I've definitely done that. But I still think that's risky. I know I'm fine. Like, I'm great. I'll take care of you. I promise you. For real. But some of y'all are just ready to risk it all. Just going off with some fucking guy you don't know to Hawaii or wherever, stuck on an island with some man. Look, if that's how you want to live, roll them dice, fine. You're all adults here, fine. You know. But if he's already taken you on vacation, make him get you a separate room. You don't commit to anything you don't want to, ladies. Make sure you get you a second room, at least. All right? Get your own room with your name on it. Trust me on this one. You don't need a key. Let's see here. Not me going. Trip means wet. Well, not necessarily. He can take you on a nice trip, get yourself some separate rooms. You can always fake a stomach bug the first night. I don't know what it is. This traveling has got me kind of... I don't know. My stomach's kind of aching, and I might want to turn in early. That's what you do. Let's see. When should you sleep with him? when you want to. That's the thing. Here's the thing. Y'all adults here, all right? And the birds do it, the bees do it. Y'all gonna do it. It's all good. Just doing it kind of do it when you want to. That's the answer. There's no rules to this shit. There's some people will tell you make them wait a long time, make them wait a month or 3. Some people, whatever. Here's the thing. If you guys click, you're both intelligent people, can handle yourself, fine. My last girlfriend, I slept with her the first night we met, but then we dated for like a long time, 4 years. It was serious. And it has nothing to really, it's just about the connection between the people. I don't recommend that necessarily. I'm not saying go out and have a bunch of one-night stands. Not saying it. If you want to do that, go for it. You do that. However, just saying, it just depends on the connection between the people. Okay? So don't worry too much about that. Why did you propose to her? It was close, actually. Let's see. My ex is back living with his ex. Wait, Jesus, Stacy. Stacy asks, my ex is back living with his ex, but begging for me back, saying he made a mistake. Tell him you should screenshot that shit and send it to his girlfriend. Hey, girly. Hey, girly. Just send it to him like that. Send it to him like that. That man will be on the street lickety split. I wonder if she knows. I wonder if his girlfriend knows that. And also, here's the thing. If you women get a guy like that, that's how you're gonna lose him too. You're gonna lose him the same way you got him. If he's cheating on his current girlfriend with you, this is some secret love affair or whatever, I promise you, ma'am, you're the next victim. Is that what you want? Because that's what you're going to get. You're not special. It's just, that's a character flaw. You're not special. It's a character flaw. You get it? I'm not saying the kitty's not bomb or whatever. All right? I know you guys got big egos about you. But I promise you that's a character issue and it's going to happen to you. All right? Oh, man. Yeah, I don't want them. There you go. Put them in that Facebook group. Are we dating the same man? Put them in that shit. Put him on Citizen because that should be a crime. He should at least get a fine for that or something. A ticket on his window or something. Put him on Citizen with screenshots. Provide the evidence. For stalking, yeah. A man with audacity on 600 feet from you. Here's the proof. She'll get a notification. She'll get a notification. Man tries to get back with his ex secretly while living with his current girlfriend. Notification pop up. That's like an Amber Alert right there. Jail. Okay. I'm a widow. I'm a widow, very close with his family. Would that be an issue for future dating? Oh, listen here. Mod Vita. Here's the thing. Nobody's going to blame you for your life moving on if you're... Let's get real serious for a second, guys. Nobody's going to blame you for you moving on with your life after your husband died. Now, you shouldn't be moving on in necessarily a week or whatever. Not saying you're going to do that. It's not my place to tell you when you should move on. But if you have a death in your immediate family, and you grieve and it's time to move on, nobody expects you to be a depressed wreck forever. You're already a victim. You don't need to continue to make yourself a further victim just because you think that's what others would want you to be. I don't think anybody in his family or yours wants you to suffer more than you already have. Don't you see? Getting back out there might make it's not that you're going to forget, not that you're going to be disrespectful, but nobody, including your deceased husband, isn't going to want you to now suffer the rest of your life because of an accident or some unfortunate circumstance. Don't you see? My grandmother lost her husband. My grandfather was a bit older than her. And she grieved, and within a couple of years, she remarried, and she's so happy now. And my grandfather, straight up, is buried in her backyard, cemetery and all. And she very much had love for my grandfather and much respect for him, of course. And she has moved on with her life, but she still obviously grieves him very much. But that doesn't mean you can't have a life and be happy after that. And that goes for anything, whether you're a widow or you lost a loved one due to not death but any other circumstance. And nobody expects you to sit around and suffer. You're already suffering, so nobody expects you to continue to do that for their sake. I think people want you to move on. All right, and also it's your life. That's the other part too. Okay, you can't just suffer because of what other people think. You have to also take responsibility for your own life and try to live the best life you can despite everything. And it's hard out here. So nobody's going to blame you for doing life together with someone else later when it's appropriate. Don't you see? Don't beat yourself up about that too much. Sir, look at my message. There you go. You're welcome. Let's see here. How would one begin to turn things around and start attracting men with the same outlook as you? I don't know. I don't know what men have the same outlook as me. I don't know. Tell them to watch my show for a while. My husband doesn't want me to work, but complains about what he has to pay for. Oh, I see. That's a good one to know. Just say, well, do you want me to work? And then he goes like a catch-22. What do you want me to work? No, I don't want you to work. Oh, everything is so expensive. Oh, well, what should we do? Should I get a job? No, I don't want you to work. Oh, things are so expensive. And say, well, why do you keep complaining about how expensive they are if you don't want me to work? Do you want to do overtime? What? Should we complain and cry about how expensive it all is? Because here's the answer, guys. I can just go ahead and read the future for all of us. It's expensive. And it keeps getting more expensive. Is he taking it out on you now? So he doesn't want you to work. He's providing for you. But if he's providing for you and grumbling about it, is that really providing? Such a martyr. Oh my God. Don't worry, baby, I'll take care of you. And then bitch and gripe the whole way like such a fucking martyr. What kind of life is that? So he's providing for you, but you're supposed to feel scared and bad every day in your own house that he provided for you? Now you feel guilty in your own house? What kind of life is that? That's not the kind of provisioning I'm talking about. If he's going to complain about how much he paid for dinner, and then you go, well, we didn't have to go to dinner. What's that for? It's going to make you feel bad in the car ride home? Is that some sort of new aphrodisiac I haven't heard of before? Cheapness? Is cheapness the new aphrodisiac? I don't think so. I didn't get the memo on that one. Nothing gets me in the mood like being cheap. Perfect. Sign me up. You should tell them that. Nothing puts me in the mood but complaining about the cost of things. My God, does it get me going? Okay. That's so stupid. God. Okay. Some of y'all making this hard, man. I'm trying to be serious sometimes, but y'all make it hard for me. Okay. Try it. Okay. All right. I'm catching up. I'm catching up. All right. Dating, sure. What do I think about dating apps? I just talked about that earlier. Let's see here. I keep finding myself being the provider. Well, that's on you, man. If you guys are going to the date, and he's like, I think we should split this. Yeah, it'd be like, equality and all this. You should split it. Split the bill, and that's it. Don't go, because if you start splitting the bill on day one, that bodes to your future. And by the way, it never gets better. It gets cheaper every date you see him. It'll be 50-50 now, 50-50 then. He forgot his wallet the next time, and it just keeps getting worse. Once the courtship's over, you think the 50-50 dynamic gets better for you? Y'all get married, you're going to be paying half. If you, it just keeps getting worse. And then, since you're already paying, some unfortunate circumstance is not contributing at all, you're going to be paying. And then here we are 2 years later, he still hasn't gotten a job, you're just still paying. You set that precedent from the beginning, man. You decide early on what is going to be acceptable for yourself. I don't know. The way I was raised in the South, it just seemed like the right thing to be a gentleman. It wasn't just about being a gentleman. It's not like some fake chivalry, like pretending to be a guy that would provide. It's just having girlfriends. The idea of even having a woman around to go on a date with you, to go to the movies with you, or to the skating rink, or whatever we did as kids, we had a roller skating rink. I grew up in a small town. We had a movie theater down the road and a roller skating rink, and then the kids would go there, stuff like that. And so I just assumed that I'm gonna ask out little Ashley. It was gonna cost me something, Like I gotta have enough money to get 2 tickets. I got enough money I gotta get enough popcorn. Get enough money to get popcorn for 2. I wouldn't even cross my mind to even ask her out in the first place if I wasn't going to be able to afford it. I would have embarrassed myself, you see, by asking her to contribute or to get some money from her parents or something. Maybe that's just me. I shouldn't. I don't think so. But I just thought that I should be prepared. If I'm going to date a woman, it's going to cost me. We have a roller skating rink and plenty of popcorn. Nice. Yep, that's how I grew up. Let's see here. Okay, every man I've dated asked to borrow money. Well, you pick them. Stop dating ones that are in that kind of position. Let's see here. Please talk about dating apps. Guys, I've already talked about dating apps at the beginning of this live. All my lives are recorded on my Instagram and YouTube. I did like a 20-minute rant about dating apps just a minute ago. I'm not doing that again. I already talked about Nepo babies and exactly what that is on this live. Do you wear a suit every day? No. Let's see here. What do you think of a wife? What do you think if a wife leaves her husband for a richer man? Here's the thing, guys. All jokes aside, I think for me, at least the way I see marriage is a death pact. There's no way out of it. If you commit to somebody in front of God, in front of all your people, whatever. That's a death pact. The only way out of marriage is death. So choose wisely, folks. Unless it's some abusive situation where you're fucked up, like it's a fucked up situation you have to escape from, like you're a straight victim, that's different. But anything beyond that, financial stuff, y'all fighting, or y'all arguing a little too much, or like other external or internal circumstances, unless it's either, if it's abuse and you're a victim, all right, that's different. But barring that, marriage is a fucking commitment. And that's a part of the whole deal. The grass is almost always not greener. If you have a decently successful man that cares for you, that might be way better for you than a richer man, simply because he's richer. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. It's green where you water it. And as long as it's not abuse, that's a fucking commitment that you should honor, because that's your life you're putting at stake there. If you got a good man that's really willing to treat you right, even if he's not the richest, and some other rich man comes around trying to, get a piece of the pie or whatever, it's not a great idea to just leave your husband for him. Do you understand? Because you might get over there and he might be richer, but it might be a way worse situation. You don't know. There's so many stingy rich men. There's so many abusive rich men. There's so many controlling rich men. My God, controlling is a big one. And it's just like a worse off life. Straight up. So unless it's, my fucking real advice is, if you are married, unless you're a victim of abuse, like physical abuse, y'all better work that out. You're married to your husband till you die. The end. And that's it. Honor that. That's my real advice. Okay, let's see here. I got time for one more. Civil marriage, same thing. Yeah, that's the other thing. Common law marriage is real, folks. You guys get yourself an avoidant attachment man. What you need to do is you need to insist that we should move to a state that you and I know is a state that has common law marriage. All right. If you got yourself an avoidant attachment man, and you're anxious attachment because that's just who you are, over analyzing everything, and then y'all just all you need to do is start sending that man job listings in states with common law marriage, because in a few short years the state will decide that shit for you. All right, that shit you don't even have to wait around. That the state will decide. That's how you catch them. That's how you catch them. Just start texting them jobs on LinkedIn. In Louisiana. Actually, I don't know if Louisiana has common law. I think they do, but no, I'm not sure. Just send them some good job listings. Send them some good job listings and common law marriage states. We'll keep that between us. All right. And that of anxious avoidant, your anxious attachment style, and that avoidant attachment style man will be yours in just a few short years. All right, that's all you need to do. And then at that point, you buy yourself a ring with his money. Because that's your money now. Y'all married. Buy your own damn ring. That's what you do. That's how you catch one. You got yourself an avoidant man. You catch yourself one simply by moving to the right states, or being in the right states. And y'all moving together in just a few short years, you buy your own ring. It's his money anyways. You pick it out yourself, because the one he's going to pick is ugly anyways. Buy it yourself. And you will get the same treatment in court. Promise you that. That's how you do it. That's a little life hack for you. Which states? You Google that shit. Find one with good climate. Find a state with good climate and common law marriage, and start sending them job listings. Start applying for them. Put him in for him. He can start getting interviews on his phone call. He won't know what to do. Be like, what's this for? Just look like a good opportunity, honey. I don't know. And the next thing you know, you can buy yourself a ring. You can get the square round. You can get the square, the pillow. You can get the pillow shaped ones if you like. Buy your own ring. Y'all married now. Ask ChatGPT. That's right. Yeah, get you an emerald cut. Hazel wants an emerald cut. That's what you got to do. Get your anxious, avoidant man to move with you to some new state for some possible job prospects you signed him up for. All right? He doesn't need to know that y'all common law marriage. And he ain't never going to propose because he's avoidant attachment style. But no need to worry, ma'am. There's hope for you yet. The state will decide that for you. And when it does, go get you that emerald cut ring. You're married now. Ta-da! Like magic. That's my show, folks. Thanks everybody for joining me. I will be back on Tuesday at 5. Thanks everybody again. Add me on Instagram, see real stuff from my real actual life. Okay, thanks guys. Bye-bye.